Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining us here at CCSC. We are going to add a little residential area over here with gravel roads, make it look a little rural. We're also going to reclaim a whole bunch of land over here in this little Gulf Coast over here. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the brief hiatus. We had to buy a new microphone. We're also going to add a four-way clover interchange right there. Had to buy a new microphone, but we are back and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and get right into today's episode, and we're going to start it off by destroying this entire interchange. We need to replace this interchange. First, we're going to pause the game with a cloverleaf interchange. So let's go ahead and delete all the segments that we can. And I think we need a little bit more down here. And then we're going to talk about terraforming. Terraforming is a very important part of this game. We're going to level all of this terrain to, let's go kind of as high as we can. Let's just try... Let's go off of this, and we'll bump this up to the highest that it can be. And we're going to level all of this terrain to the same height. And that means removing a lot of the terrain over here, but that's fine. Terraforming is a huge part of this game. It does cost a lot of money, and it becomes a kind of a pain sometimes if you don't have the money, but you have to do it. You don't see highway cloverleaf intersections that aren't completely flat. So now we can go ahead and put this down, and I think that is about right there. Now when we put this down, you're going to notice that the highway is messed up here, whoever made this map. And first you're going to notice we're out of money. So let's go ahead and hit play and let this cycle through. Ooh, that's right, we need to connect these roads. So let's go ahead and connect these roads. And for right now, we're just going to connect these because they're cheaper, and we will upgrade them in just a second. This will be, can we? Oh, come on now. Let's see here. There we go. So my apologies. Let's go ahead and hit play. And that will definitely be disruptive, but it'll be fine. It'll get us playing the game, and let's bump this up to 3 times speed so we can gain some money. Now, as you can see, this is completely inappropriate and completely wrong, and they're not even one-lane roads. We can go ahead and upgrade them to highways probably now. Let's pause the game just in case they go the wrong way, and there we go. Now we are connected again. Alright, and I feel like an idiot, but it's fine. Now you can see the preset map is, the highway is way too wide apart, which makes this highway, it makes no matter what, it's going to come down at an angle. But I kind of like that angle. We're not going to redo the entire highway. We're going to leave that as is for right now, and just bear with it. Now, other aspects of terraforming. So what we want to do over here, let's go ahead and go to our straight tool here. And can we go straight? Yes, we can. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and come down and back up, and then we're going to run just a straight road. This road is not ideal. This isn't the best way to do this, but for right now, we don't have much money. We're going to put a small residential area over in this section over here, and this residential area will kind of be like a farm town section. It won't be much population, but that is also where the cargo train terminal will go. That will be part of this residential area. So we're going to go off camera for just a second and let the gameplay go ahead, and we'll fix this off camera. We're going to let the gameplay carry on, and we've now completed our small little residential area over here. As you can see, it is all gravel roads. We changed the paved road, and this road will eventually be removed once we get all of this terraformed land into where I want it. I want it to be a lot lower than this entire area. If we go over to our info views and down to terrain height, this whole mountainside here I want to remove. I want to lower all of this about to this level, maybe even a little bit lower. That's going to take a lot of money, and we will get into that later in the episode. But first, let's discuss what we've done over here. We've just got a couple little roads, residential roads. They're just gravel roads right off of this train rail line, and we're going to put, eventually, we're going to put our cargo train station here, but I think we need to reach our next milestone of 5,500 before we can do that. No, 7,500 before we can do that. We will reach those in today's episode. Once we do that, this will be a bustling little hub. We have already connected water, and we can connect power as soon as we get some residents over here. We'll go ahead and run a power line across the highway, and we will connect it down here towards the end of the street. And we will start by zoning off that area first. And once we get some people living over in this area, then we can answer this residential demand that you see in the bottom right hand corner. And that should happen relatively quickly. Now in this area, I want to add a few amenities to make sure that people want to move over here. And we're going to add an elementary school. I think the elementary school will probably be off of this main road up here. This will eventually become a gravel road. And let's go ahead and put the elementary school off of this side. Yeah, I'm thinking right there, next to the tree. We'll go ahead and put an elementary school there, and we just need this power to connect. We should have some people moving in quickly, but not quite yet. So let's go ahead and run a power line down here, and up, right there. And we'll go ahead and connect this elementary school. And we don't have the demand for an elementary school yet. We don't need to put that in yet, but I want to go ahead and get these amenities so that we can focus on something else. I also want to add a police department over here. And that will probably, both these roads will probably be upgraded to paved roads, but for right now that'll work. We're going to put the police department, and do we need a firehouse? We definitely need a firehouse. We need a few firehouses. Let's go ahead and put one down here as well. Let's go ahead and put the firehouse over here, the end of the street. I like that, that'll work. Alright, so we've got a firehouse there, and then we need another firehouse up here to provide the amenities that will draw in residents to this area. And that should make everyone happy. Now we can zone off a little bit more residential and fill in this back area over here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Actually, let's go ahead and dezone that, because once that power line moves, then we can remove that zone. And we'll get all of this filled in. These houses will be a little bit closer than you would see on a country road, you know, like a gravel road like this, but it is still very close to the highway. Provided we had the 81 tile upgrade for PC, we wouldn't do this. But this will work. This will look nice. Nice little gravel area, nice little rural area next to the farmland that we plan on building down here in Oliver Square. Now, as that grows, we can do a couple other things. I want to show you mostly terraforming. We need to level all of this terrain down here and get all of this to a better height. And you can see we are messing up the rail line here, but that's fine because that whole rail line is going to change as well. So now we have not enough money, but we have plenty of soil. So if we go, we have halfway soil. So what I also want to do is show you how to reclaim some land. Land reclamation is a very, very tough task to complete, but we are going to attempt it in today's episode. First, we're going to bump up our budgets for electric. We'll bump that up to 110 just so that they don't bother us. We are going to reclaim a lot of land over here. All of this land is, this color isn't that deep. The blue is very deep, but this isn't that deep. We can reclaim all of this land. So instead of having this huge gulf, we can have all of this land, and the name of this game is land, trust me. We will probably also reclaim a lot of other land, like this little peninsula over here that is completely underwater, because it's so much land that we can reclaim for almost nothing. It does cost a lot of money, and with the last Airports DLC, now you don't actually have to. Our original plan for this area over here was to knock down this mountain to move this soil over here to reclaim this land. We don't necessarily have to do that anymore. You can now buy and sell soil. We could sell 52 tons of soil right now for $26,000, which is great. So it's also another money-making area. You could tear down the soil, and I don't know if it would be viable for making money, to be honest with you, because that is not what I wanted to do. Alright, we've reached Big Town Milestone. Let's reassess what we've done. We just bought a ton of soil for $26,000. At Big Town Milestone, let's focus on the good. We've reached the next milestone. We can buy another tile. We can add campus areas, which is what I want to talk about with reclaiming all this land over here. I think that's where we're going to put our campus. We can also do IT clusters, but we are far, far away from doing that. Education boost. A bunch of all of this is from DLCs. It's a bunch of cool things that you can get. Download the DLC. I can't tell you enough. Nonetheless, back to what we're talking about. I think we're going to put a campus over here, a university. Now, we do have a university down, but is the preset university in the standard gameplay, and that is not it. We do not have a university down yet. I apologize. I thought we did. We need a university. My apologies. Info views. Run up to this book here. That is your education. We have almost 2,000 people eligible for university. We need to get a university down now. I apologize. I thought we had already done that, and we need $75,000. Let's go to our economy. We'll go to our loans. We're going to pay this now and take it back, and I still don't think that's enough. We're going to bump this up to 3 times speed, and we'll be right back whenever we can afford that university. And we can now add the university. We can put this down right here. Come on now. There we go. Now we have a university put down, and although that's a very perfect little spot for it, that will not stay there. That university will be gone once we unlock enough area to build our campus over there. Now, another train of thought that I had before we went to our little break there to save some money was selling soil. You cannot sell soil, I apologize. You can buy soil or you can pay to have it disposed. Both of them cost $26,000. So the other option, instead of paying to dispose your soil, is to, where's the fill tool? Here we go. Shift terrain. Is to reclaim some land, as we were discussing. So we're going to reclaim all of this land here. Let's go ahead and go to our terrain height again. We're going to reclaim all of this land, and we're going to start by getting a nice little line of where we want to be. So straight line, left to right. We want something like this, but we want to do it more down on this tip and up to that tip. So let's turn just a bit, and we're going to try. There we go. So we want something like that. Move forward a little, and then we can go back to this tool here. We're going to go to the smallest that we possibly can, and we can bump it up to the highest strength that we can. But we're going to hit X on PS4, and we're going to add land. And we're going to do this over and over, all the way down. We're going to do this very slowly and very carefully. And the reason we're going to do it like this is because if you just fill all this in, you're going to create a huge tsunami tidal wave that will encompass and engulf your entire city and kill everything that you've built. So we're going to continue on this line, and we're just going to slowly add more and more soil. And you can see this is a pretty deep spot here. This little mound cost us $1,500. Now we're in the deepest that we can possibly be. We got autosave. But this is the way to do this. If you just add a bunch of soil, let's go ahead and exit out and go back to our terrain height. If you just add a bunch of soil, you will kill everything. You can see those are the 2 deepest spots. You will kill everything that you've built. Trust me, I've done it many times, and later in the episode we're going to have a demonstration of it, but we're going to do it downriver from our citizens so that we don't actually kill everyone. So we're just going to start with this for now, and this is our outline of where we need to be, and that is enough information to tell us where to stop. So now that we've got all that done, I can show you exactly what I mean. So if you were to add all of this soil in at once, it would create a huge tsunami tidal wave over here and engulf this entire area. And if you remember from our terrain height, all of this is low land. So all that water would stay there for a long time. Your entire city would die. It would ruin everything. So we're going to do that very slowly and very carefully. And I'm going to show you a demonstration of that tidal wave by relocating these ugly and hideous sewage outlets. This sewage outlet is just pumping in raw sewage into our stream and down the river. It is also unsightly and makes a lot of noise pollution, the same with the inlet station. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick little workaround to hide these by going to our landscaping tool. We're going to add a canal underwater. So we're going to go to the deep canal, and I believe the wide, deep, maybe wide medium. I think wide medium works. And actually, let's go ahead. How many tiles can we buy? We can buy 1 tile. I think we're going to go that next, but let's wait on that. So, sorry. Let me get back on my train of thought. So the wide medium canal, we're going to build that downriver from our city population, and we're going to actually go to our terrain height tool again, and we want to be right about there. We will expand this canal eventually, but let's go ahead and do this. And as soon as I put this in, you're going to see all of this water here. all of this water, if you did this or anything like this upriver from your city, you will destroy your city. It is a very tough lesson learned and a very quick reach to get to the autosave. All of this is just disastrous for your city if you're trying to build anything upriver. You can see how immense that is. Alright, now that we've got that done, the very first thing that we want to do is we want to relocate our sewage station. And actually, this is our water drain pipe. We're going to go ahead and delete this. So let's go ahead and pause the game. We're going to delete this altogether, this water drain pipe, confirmed. And we're going to come down here. Let's go to our terrain height to find out where we need to be. And let's go to our water utilities. And this is the standard drain pipe. The standard drain pipe has dirty looking water coming out of it. We don't want that. Now, if you only have the standard gameplay, then that's what you have, and that's all you can do. That's fine. We do not. We, on the other hand, have some DLCs. This is the Green Cities DLC on PS4, and this gives you a green alternative. This is an eco water outlet. However, the downside with this, it costs more to run, and the drain capacity is half. This is only 60,000, where the standard drain is 120,000. But it is what it is, and this will eliminate our... And which way does it need to be? I think it needs to be this way. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, it needs to be that way. So this will eliminate all of our sewage problems that we're having. And we need to put 2 just to replace the 1 that we destroyed. So we're going to go ahead and put 4 down while we have this. And there we go. And I don't think this is... Yeah, I think we'll be alright. So, you need a little bit of space between your sewage and your inlet. And I think we'll be okay. And instead of running straight line here, if you don't have enough, because we're going to add more eventually, if you don't have enough, you're going to want to go up a couple inches and then over, because if not, you will just have to delete that line and then replace it anyway. So, then we can run to the corner of our new little residential area. Go ahead and hit play again. And we need to get power down to this pump station. And let's go on the north side of this. And what is the closest and quickest that we can get to? So let's go up and over and then connect. And all of this will be deleted and redone at some point. That doesn't look good, but hey, it is what it is for right now. Now that should be fine for our pump stations. We can go to our info views and go ahead and look at our water. Sewage treatment, we're double what our water capacity is, so that's fine. Now once all of this sewage gets cleared out, we will move the pump stations down there too. We will move this one and we will add one more. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and leave that as is until all that sewage gets cleared out, because we don't want to get our citizens sick. We have a problem with taxes, so let's go ahead and go to our budget. Our taxes we can turn... so let's go ahead and turn these up to 13 before we forget. And this is commercial, so we'll go ahead and put that down to 12. And residential, I think they were fine, weren't they? Yes. So it's just the commercial buildings on the strip. We can go ahead and delete that, and another building will move in there. And we can do the same down here. Now that should answer that problem. And now we can go ahead and add some high density residential. So this is the high density residential that we just unlocked. We're going to go ahead and put a few of these down here. And what I'm thinking is this whole end area down here, I would like to see... So our map is going to be these 9 tiles. We're going to encompass all 9 of these tiles. And the main center of downtown is going to be all the little points on this island, these islands. It's going to be high buildings on all the edges. So this area down here, we're going to build some high density residential. We have the demand for it right now. And let's go ahead and fill that in and maybe even that. Yeah, I think that'll be alright. And I think I want to stay off of this side and keep the waterfront open. I think that will look better. And that will start us off with some high density residential down here in Meadow Park, and that will look kind of nice on the water. And again, we're gonna have tall buildings over there, tall buildings over there, tall buildings there. It'll look cool. Just trust me, stay with us. We will look cool. So we're gonna go ahead and continue with our land reclamation, and we'll go back over to this tool here, and this is just adding height. So we need to go with the level terrain tool, and we're gonna pick a spot. And let's go ahead and pick right about there, and we will go ahead and fill all of these in. The same thing that we did the last time. We're just slowly reclaiming this land and taking it back by filling it in. As you can see, this is very much a very long, tedious process that takes a long time to accomplish. It's not, something you would necessarily base a video around. But I do want to complete this in today's episode. I don't know that we will get it completed, but we will at least instruct you and show you. Now, once you get so far along with this, you don't want to necessarily add too much. We're just adding a few points here, and then we want to take a break because we don't want any of this water. Also, you can see there's some good movement of water circling around here and pulling all of these tidal waves out to this side. But we also have to worry about this back here. If we add too much, we might have a tidal surge that comes back here and then drowns our city. So we need to go ahead and keep an eye on that. So we'll let that play out for a second. Let's go ahead and answer some demands that we have. We have a burglar over here, and I thought we had a police station, but apparently not. So let's go ahead and add another police station, and I think we're fine. We don't need a police station. We're absolutely fine. That burglar's taken care of. And the problem over here on Main Street is not enough educated workers, which is why we added that university. Now we have a university. We can go ahead and take a look at this. 245 students enrolled out of 4,500. Now you can see 4,500 students, that is not a 4,500 student capacity campus, and that's why they added the campus DLC. So again, I think we're going to take this highway and run it right across here, have an exit, and then curve it around and reach over there. It will then encompass a nice long circle around our city. You can see it will connect over here and make a nice long round traffic circle around our city, which I think will help immensely in our population and our distribution of traffic. Now we need to add a little bit more land. You can see we're losing money. Yeah, level terrain. You can see we're losing money now. We are losing $1,000 a week. We have a nice little bankroll, but we are losing money, which is a problem. We have no industry demand, and we have some residential demand. So let's go ahead and answer some more residential demand by adding some more high-density residential. And we'll go ahead and expand on what we're doing over here in Meadow Square. And actually, the very first thing that I want to do is, again, level terrain. So we're going to go ahead and level the terrain to this height. We can bump this up. And then we may even have to rebuild these roads. But we want this to look nice. So let's level all of this around here and see how that looks. That's too low, so we can go ahead and level it to this height. Yeah, that's a little better. Keep a little bit of a ridge. We may get rid of that. But nonetheless, this is where we want to be over here. And I think we actually want to be there. So let's go ahead and level this down a little bit more. And then we're going to remove this road here. Pause it, delete this road, and go back and re-add this road. And this is a bicycle road. Oh, let's go to our straight tool, and there. Now that looks much better and much more natural. We can go ahead and hit play, and then we're going to zone all of this off, and we're just going to zone this off as high density residential. But I want to do a little bit there, kind of space this out a little bit so we can add some park paths later. And I think that'll keep the tree. We want to add some park paths all the way around the back and connect everything up. We have plenty of residential demand, so this should be fine, and we'll add another small one on this corner. And then we can go ahead and add a few over here. And let's do a bigger one on this corner. And that should answer our residential demand once people realize that Meadow Park is the place to be. Now, I would like to add some office buildings. We don't have any office buildings down to answer our industry demand, but we have no industry demand. So we're going to section this off to high density commercial. And we can maybe put some office buildings back here later. But that will be high density commercial. And once all that fills in, that should answer all of our demands, and we can go ahead and continue our journey on land reclamation. So we'll go ahead and go off camera and let this play out for a little bit, and we'll join you in just a second. And one of the classic problems of not having the DLC, we now have a garbage landfill site that is completely full. We can unload this, and by emptying it into another facility, it's going to use all of its trucks to slowly unload it. And in order to move this landfill site, that is what you have to do. You have to now empty it before you can relocate it. Luckily, we've already put down 3 recycling centers, so we will be fine for a while, but it is something to keep an eye on. Let's go ahead and delete this. Traffic seems to be doing all right. Let's go ahead and take a look at our info views. So our traffic is 91%, which is fantastic. We have a little bit of, congestion coming off the highway. That's going to happen. You can't help anything about that. We have some bicycle lanes down over in our newest area of Meadow Park, but not around the rest of the map. So that is something that we want to take care of. That way people can ride their bike to work, to and from work and shopping. And that is something that they will do if you have the option to do so. We now need to take care of our electric demand. We have bumped it up to 129%. We need to just go ahead and add a couple more of these. And we'll throw these down. Yeah, 40 grand, who cares? It's fine. Now that should answer our electric demand just fine. Let's go ahead and go to info views, and we should be able to turn that budget way down now. So we'll go ahead and go to the budget, start with 100 and see where we are. Actually, I think we can go more than that. Let's go to 90, then check out our info views. Let this play out for a second. You can see our little archipelago over here is coming along nicely. We've got quite a few mounds now. It is about time to start filling that in a little bit deeper. But we've done great. We've had no water problems over here. We've had no flooding anywhere. We do need, speaking of water problems, to bump up the budget just a little bit. And let's go ahead and take a look at our pollution. We're starting to wash everything out. I would say we've got a little bit longer to go. We're almost there though. And you can see there's still a little bit of pollution there. If you go to your info views, there is a pollution view that you can see. You can see there is, no, it doesn't show up on that. You can see all the pollution there and there. But you can see it is a little darker there. Not much, but a little bit darker coming out of those. But it's so much better than what we had on the standard sewage drain. So once that washes out, then we can add the other pump station and get that going. And that should answer our demand for that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our electric. We are well over budget. I think we can bump this down to 85. We'll go ahead and let that play out. Let's get back to our reclaiming of land over here in this nice little gulf. Let's add a few more of these before we take another break. We are at 6,500 in population. I would like to reach the next milestone in this episode. I don't know that we will complete that task. I apologize. We have been on a long hiatus, mainly because my microphone broke. It took me a little while. I have now bought a Blue Nano microphone, and we should be good to go. It is top of the line from everything that I read. I didn't go for the top of the line. I just went with the Nano, but it picks up my fish tanks way too much, and it is turned all the way down. I apologize for any disturbing noises in the background. We have, dogs, cats, fish, we have everything. There's definitely going to be some noise with this microphone. It is too dang good. So now that we've got a little bit more of this land filled in, let's go ahead and see if we have any tidal waves coming. And this little area that I'm doing right now will definitely create some. So this might get us into a little bit of trouble, but we need to hurry this up and get this land filled in. So let's go ahead, check everything out. We are looking good. Gaining only 10 per turn, that's why I don't think we're going to reach 7,500 in this episode. But it gives us something to look forward to next week. We will be back on course, a video a week. Unfortunately, that's all that I can get put out on this channel. Between working and the animals and everything, I just one video a week, that's all I can get to you. However, I hope you enjoy the series. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Interact with me. Talk to me. Let's engage. This is a lot of fun for me, and I have a feeling that a lot of you enjoy it as well. So thank you very much for all of your support. We'll go ahead and go off camera for a little bit longer and make sure we don't have any tidal waves surging towards our fair city. I think we're going to be okay. You can see our K-walls are very low, but I think we're going to be okay, and we'll go ahead and fill a little bit more in before ending the episode. Now we have filled in quite a bit more, but as you can see, we have not enough soil. So we have two options. We could either buy 55 tons of soil for $26,000, which we don't actually have $26,000. You can see we're almost there. We are doing quite well. Once we get all this terrain level, however, we're going to knock this mountain down here and get more of it all leveled out. So we can go ahead and start with knocking this mountain down here. We're going to level the terrain on that size and remove all of this little top peak here, and that will give us more soil. Instead of just buying $52,000 worth of soil, we can go ahead and just remove this here, and there we go. That's how much money it took to remove that little bit of a mountaintop. $20,000 just to do that. That's how expensive it is to do this. It does take a lot of time, a lot of work, but it is necessary for gameplay to look realistic. To have your city look like a real city, it takes a lot of terraforming. You can see we have garbage problems already, and if we go to our inspector tool here, we are only at 90% full. So this thing's only gotten rid of 10%, and we're already having garbage problems around the city. We're gonna let that play out a little bit more. You can see our whole little residential rural area over here has filled in, and all of our meadow park area over here has filled in. Now we have a little bit area that we can still zone off, and we're going to go ahead and just do this as high density as possible, and we'll put another one right here if we can. We have a lot of residential demand. You can see we've connected all this with park paths behind, and I kind of like the way it looks. I think even with this low density residential, these houses back here, if we keep this little bit here clear, I think it'll look all right. So we're going to go ahead and fill in some trees and do a little bit of beautification in this episode. I know it gets boring to see people put trees down, but beautification is another very important part of building your city. You want to make sure that everything looks good. You want to have a few trees separating. Trees also work as sound barriers. So you kind of separate the high density residential away from the low density residential with some trees and natural sound barriers, and it kind of looks good. So now we're going to add a few little oak trees down here and all around to kind of make it look not just like one type of tree. And this is just very simple beautification, but it makes the city look a lot better and a lot more full and a lot more alive. So there we go. Now we've got a few trees separating the houses from the high density residential. Power is a problem again, so we can bump this up now. Let's go ahead and go to 90. You can see I thought about removing these little low density houses, but I think this will work. And back here in this area we have some more high density or low density houses and the elementary school. So all of this is going to kind of stay low skyline, and this square up here will be high rises. I think that'll look all right. I want to get some more trees down just in this back area over here through this little courtyard. Just put a few kind of in the middles, and then we'll go ahead and add some evergreens and kind of fill these paths in so it looks a little bit better. Sorry, cats are chasing each other. I can guarantee you hear that now. I used to always apologize for the cats and animals, but it wouldn't pick up on my headset. I can guarantee you hear that now. It picks everything up on this new microphone. So there we go, a little bit of beautification. Make sure your city kind of looks good. It doesn't take much, just a few trees, a few park paths, and we've got people utilizing these. You can see there's people walking. They will utilize these paths. They will walk around the town that way, and it connects and makes sure, you know, if all these, so these high rises, this is exactly what I want to show you. These office buildings, sorry, these commercial buildings over here are all right next to each other. Right smack dab right next to each other. It looks very congested, very crowded. You add just a little park path in between these buildings, maybe a tree, maybe a couple. This is just one park path, one tile in between them, and it looks so much better. Looks so much more realistic. I like to add park paths in between commercial buildings, office buildings, everything. You can see all three of these buildings here, very jammed together, very tight, very close quarters. It really separates your city out to add some park paths, and like we did over here in the old main town, down Main Street in the old town, you can see there's a little bit of space in between everything. It's not just building upon building upon building. It's not a concrete canyon. It looks so much better. I think anyway, in my own opinion, I think it looks so much better to have a little bit of space in between. So we did a little bit of beautification. We added a couple more parks. We're going to add one more big park over here. just because I think it will look cool right on the corner here. And it did delete our park path, but we can go ahead and reconnect that and just go into the park. Just like that. And there we go. People can walk through the park to get across now. And we can add a couple more paths all around so that it makes it a little shorter jaunt to go through the park. And there we go. Now we have another park in this little area, and it kind of fits into the terrain. It doesn't look too bad, although it is on a slope. Buildings on a slope look pretty bad. Parks kind of blend in relatively well. And you can see from the water, now as you're coming in on a boat, which we will have options for later, you can see nice buildings, parks. It looks good. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for our episode today. We do need to fill in a little bit more over here. We can go ahead and level terrain to this height and just do this pretty quick actually now. Once you get to where you have mostly, you can see there is some water movement there. But once you get to where you have mostly everything full, you can kind of do a couple big swaths like that and cut everything off. We are going to have a tidal wave with this, as you can see, but I'm hoping with the river movement it will take it out and we should be fine. We have garbage problems all over the city. We cannot do this anymore. We have to get this back into operation. It only got down to 86%. So we have to deal with our garbage demand problems in the next episode. That is, I don't know, priority 6, 7, I don't know. City growth is the main priority in every episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at CCSC. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support, all the comments. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.